Okay,
frequency.
that is good. Okay, yeah, some kind of answer. Yeah, that's right. But we can put it a better way. See, basically, DFT, discrete Fourier transform, it is a tool which has been used for the frequency analysis of discrete time signals. DFT is a computational tool used for the frequency analysis of discrete time signals. Okay, why particularly we go for DFT is that all other than DFT, all the existing transforms available to us, which are converting time domain to its equivalent frequency domain. After transformation, if you could analyze the spectrum or the spectra of a single signal, it's observed that the spectrum is continuous with respect to frequency. As long as the spectrum is continuous with respect to frequency, analysis and representation is not all that easy. The task is not all that easy for the better evaluation, for better representation. That is why there is a need for me to discretize that frequency domain also. There's a need for me to collect the samples at discretized intervals of frequency. That is why I'm subjecting the Fourier transform output to what is called as sampling operation in order to obtain the frequency spectrum samples at discrete intervals of frequency. Hence the name discrete Fourier transform. The resultant or the output of discrete Fourier transform results in the spectrum samples available at discrete intervals of frequency. That is why we go for DFT. And now all of you know that given an discrete time signal x of n, if I could subject to what is called as here DFT operation, what do I get? I get its equivalent. I get its equivalent x of k representation. X of k representation. And also similarly, from the given time domain signal, I'll be able to get its equivalent frequency domain, discrete frequency domain equivalent by subjecting it to DFT operation. So theoretically, the formula goes like this. X of k is given by summation n varying from 0 to n minus 1 x of n into e to the power of minus j 2 pi nk by n. And please note that the sampling interval k will run from 0, 1 till n minus 1. The same expression can be also represented in terms of twiddle factor as n varying from 0 to n minus 1 x of n into wn to the power of nk. So given a discrete time domain sequence, this is how we are going to convert ourselves from time domain to frequency domain. So now in today's class, what we'll be learning is that given the input given to you is what is called as x of n, I want to subject it to DFT process and get the equivalent frequency domain representation, that is x of k. So whatever program we'll be seeing in today's class, that program can be written in two ways. One is using the regular formula. What formula? Whatever I've written it sometime over here. Using the same formula can be translated into an equation. Accordingly, we can write a MATLAB code to obtain this DFT process or to compute DFT for a given time domain signal x of n. The second way of obtaining the MATLAB code is to use what is called as the inbuilt function, All of you know that one main advantage of MATLAB programming is that name any functions, name any task as such. Every such task has got an inbuilt MATLAB function. All you are required to invoke the particular MATLAB function with the required amount of attributes. Okay, so I can use the word parameters. By passing the desired parameters to that inbuilt function, I will be able to achieve the desired task. So probably using the formula, I'll just show the program how to convert this into basically a formula. What exactly you people must learn is that what is that inbuilt function available to us to achieve DFT. That particular function is called as FFT. FFT stands for fast Fourier transform. Okay, so what is FFT means? FFT is basically the inbuilt MATLAB function which is used to compute the DFT. Whatever definition I told, I'll repeat it. FFT, fast Fourier transform, is the inbuilt MATLAB function available for DFT computation. Whatever definition I told, it is still not complete in sense. If I could say I have to compute DFT, you have to compute DFT of what basically? So this FFT inbuilt function available to us, it can be visualized in two ways. FFT of X is one way of visualization. The other inbuilt function is FFT of X comma N. Okay, what is basically X here means? The X stands for basically the vector. Okay, whatever, for example, in my case, if I could define my time domain sequence as X of N as say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, my sequence. Okay, so this sequence is being what visualized as a one-dimensional vector, and I'll be trying to what compute the DFT of this particular vector, and this vector is what visualized as capital X over here. Okay, capital X or small x, that doesn't make a much difference. Here I've used what capital X, or if it's very confusing, you can use it as what small x also, no issue, small, because usually in time domain we represent a given signal in small case, and in frequency domain we generally go for the uppercase representation. Is it clear? Yeah, this is one way. And in this case, if I just say FFT of X means X is what, nothing but this given time domain sequence. The question is, probably in your theoretical class, so many times you have heard to the staff saying endpoint DFT, endpoint DFT. What does that very N refers to? What is the very word capital N refers to? Endpoint DFT. See, N can be, in a majority of the cases, N can be viewed as the length of the given discrete time sequence. In this case, I can say the value of N is equal to 5. Or sometimes whenever we use the word endpoint DFT, that N refers to the number of sampling points available to us on the spectra. Whenever I'm going to visualize the spectrum, the number of sampling points available to us is also termed as capital N. If you could use this, okay, the length of the sequence, if you could designate it by a variable L, and the number of sampling points by what is called as N, always keep in mind that this value of L should be either less than or equal to this value of capital N, Only then I will be able to get a faithful reconstructed signal back at the receiving end. If I could choose the value of L to be anywhere greater than the value of N, at the receiving end, I will be not able to faithfully retrieve or reconstruct back my original time domain signal from the spectra X of K, Now the question is, if I'm using the first command, FFT of X basically, here as such, there is nothing called as capital N. And how does the MATLAB consider this? How does the code works? By default, whatever is the length of the sequence, say for example, in this case, if the length is 5, automatically it is going to compute what? A 5-point DFT by default. Whatever is the length of the given time domain sequence, that will be made equal to the value of N if I don't provide this value of N. But whereas in the second command, if you could see FFT of X comma N, okay, in this case, again, what does X refers to? X refers to my sequence, my one-dimensional vector. And what does N refers to? N refers to the number of points to be required for DFT computation. As I told you, number of sampling points required for my DFT spectrum. The question is, you people might ask, Madam, what is the need for you to specify n? Why do we want to simply unnecessarily pass this extra argument or the parameter? It is just sufficient, right, to send x, because sometime back I told if I don't provide this n, by default what it will compute what 5-point DFT. What now, say for example, for the above sequence, if I could just say FFT, if I just say FFT of x means, because in this case, since the sequence length is 5, I'm going to get what? A 5-point, I'm going to get a 5-point DFT of signal x of n. The advantage of using the command FFT of x comma capital N is I can specify the value of n as per my requirement. There is no hard and fast rule that I should what? Choose the value, I should choose this value of n to be always equal to the value of length L. Okay, I can choose the value of n as per my requirement. Now the question is it, I'm asking you everybody, is it possible? See, for example, in this case, what is the length L5? Instead of 5-point DFT, can I go for 15-point DFT? Can I go for 50-point DFT? Or can I go for 80-point DFT? Yes or no? Students, are you listening to me? Yes. Okay, nobody is there online. Both section A and section B are. Section A and section B. Students, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand? Okay. Did you understand my question? I asked, instead of plain 5-point DFT, can I go for 15-point DFT? Can I go for 50-point DFT? Can I go for 30-point DFT? Yes or no? Hey, come on, say some answer, yaar. I just asked you to say either yes or no. If you say yes, I'll ask
Yes,
you. Obviously, I'm going to ask you why yes. Yes, we can say always. MATLAB provides a feasibility for me to compute higher point DFT. If you could ask, madam, what is the advantage in we going for the higher point DFT? See, as a first case, if you could just go for what? If you could just go for 5-point DFT, what I get? I'll be getting what? 5 different samples. Okay. So starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Exactly, I'm going to get the 5 samples. Pretty simpler task, no headache. What happens if I go for a 15-point DFT? What happens if I could go for a 15-point DFT? But what is my sequence length? My sequence length is only just 5. And where is the question of the remaining 10 more samples in my given discrete time sequence? If the value of L is less than the number of sampling points n, the MATLAB, while finding out its DFT, will automatically pad that required number of zeros. For example, in this case, if I'm computing 15-point DFT, since my signal sequence length is just 5, starting from the next digit 6 till 15, automatically the zeros will get padded. Zeros will get padded, and then the regular DFT computation will proceed. The advantage of we going for an higher point DFT computation is to improve the frequency resolution. Higher is the value of capital N, higher is the frequency resolution of the spectrum. The minute when I say higher frequency resolution, see, higher frequency resolution, 1 second, yes, can be spoken, okay, can be spoken in 2 different scenarios. If I say higher frequency resolution, this can be spoken in 2 different scenarios. The first one is called as high density spectrum, the first case. The second case is called as high resolution spectrum. What is the difference between high density spectrum and high resolution spectrum? As an engineer, I always expect my spectrum to be of higher resolution rather than higher density. The difference between higher density and higher resolution is that, the same example I'll pick. What was my sequence length here? 5. So only at interval 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, I've got what? Data points. Yes or no? I told greater than 5, greater than this 5, till 15 points, what is going to happen? What MATLAB will do? It will just what? Simply pad what? Zeros. There is no data. Simply I'm going to get what? Pad zeros, and I'm going to compute the DFT. By doing so, whatever spectrum I'm going to get, that is called as higher density or a high density spectrum. The higher end values are all zeros. There are no data as such. Only the lower end I've got my data. The density is high. The visibility is much more clearer. But as long as we get into the application side, we prefer an higher resolution spectrum. The minute I say higher resolution spectrum is, always it is preferable to go for a sequence of a higher length. When I say 15-point DFT, preferably I prefer to choose all the 15 data points. My signal should also be defined completely, starting from 0 till 14, to have all the 14 data points in my sequence. With that, if I could compute the DFT, I result in higher resolution spectrum. Okay, so in the MATLAB code, either you can use this FFT command or FFT or this command. Both the commands are same. Here I'm not specifying the value of n. It will take the sequence length as the default value of n. But whereas in the second command, by specifying the value of n, I will be trying to increase the what? Frequency resolution of the spectrum. So if examiner asks you what is FFT command, what is your answer? FFT is the inbuilt MATLAB function used to compute the DFT of what? Of the vector x, of the vector x. The minute I say vector, always vectors are what? Represented by capital letters here. That is why I use this capital X. So FFT is the inbuilt MATLAB function used to compute the DFT of a given vector x. You say that this is one kind of representation, this is the second kind of representation. Based on the need and the necessity, you can use any of these two commands. Done? Yes. What I'll do, I'm going to provide an input sequence x of n. By using these two MATLAB commands, I will get the code, fine. But what are the outputs? What are the outputs of this program? See, as you people know, when I'm going to transform x of n to what is called as x of k, what is the nature of x of k? Is x of k real in nature or complex in nature? Students, x of k is real in nature or complex in nature? We have done n number of sums here to compute x of k. Haven't you observed x of 0, x of 1, x of 2? What was the nature of that values here, x of k? Was it real or complex?
Complex.
Yeah.
Yes, complex. Yeah, please do answer. So basically, what complex in nature? See, this complex in nature is basically arising due to what factor? Due to this particular Twiddle factor, or due to this factor e power minus j 2 pi nk by capital N. I'm sorry, okay? This particular parameter is the cause for the complex nature of x of k. So the minute I say complex in nature means what is going to happen? The given, for example, if I could say x of k, what answer would I have got? Say, for example, the answer obtained is 2 plus 3j. Just an example. It's basically what? A complex number. So as such, I'm not saying that we can't plot this in MATLAB. We can plot this a complex number, but generally the practice in MATLAB is that whenever I'm trying to view this, the value of x of k, I'm going to view this complex number separately under two different windows. One window to compute its magnitude part. The second one is to compute its phase part. So all of you know, to compute its magnitude, how do people compute the magnitude of 2 plus 3j? Square root of 2 square plus 3 square, whatever is the answer. What is the answer? 4 plus 9, is it? 4 plus 9, that is what? Root of 13. Whatever is the answer, that would be your magnitude. How do you people compute the phase? Okay, To compute the phase, the formula used is tan inverse of B by A, the imaginary part divided by the real part. Whatever is the angle, that angle will be expressed in terms of radians. In terms of radians, the answer would be viewed as. Okay. Now, to get this magnitude plot and phase plot in MATLAB, will be ourselves getting introduced to two new functions. One is called as ABS of xk. See, xk is some variable name here. Okay, xk is this variable name. If I say ABS plus ABS is the inbuilt MATLAB function used to compute what? The absolute or the magnitude of the given complex number present in x of k. It is going to what? Return me what? The magnitude or the absolute value of this particular complex number. Similarly, to get the phase part, I'll be using a command called as angle. Angle of xk is the inbuilt MATLAB function used to obtain the phase angle. And this angle, the unit will be expressed in what? By default, in terms of radians. I think all of you know how to compute the magnitude and the phase angle, students. Okay, now everybody please copy down this and just give me the value. Now say for example, the first one is 3 plus 2j. I want its corresponding magnitude and phase. Okay, I hope everybody are there with the calculators, students. One is 3 plus 2j. The second one, say for example, it is 5 minus 4j. What is its magnitude and what is its phase? Okay, similarly, now say for example, it is minus 2 plus 6j. If so, what is its magnitude? What is its phase? Lastly, say for example, it is minus 8 minus 7j. I want its magnitude and phase. Yes. Are you guys there with the calculator?
Yes,
The class strength is now 108. Yeah,
Yes,
quickly.
ma'am.
Yes, I want you people to compute the magnitude and the phase and give me the answer in next 2 minutes, quickly. Then that will go for program. Yes, start. I'll give you 2 minutes time to compute the magnitude and phase of these 4 complex numbers. As and when you calculate, just get me the value. For the first one, what is the magnitude? Students should be smart, yeah. They should be very quick in doing things.
3.60.
Is it 3.6 is the magnitude? Yes, fine. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll first compute all the magnitude part, then I'll go for phase. What is the magnitude of the second one? 5 minus 4j. None of the boys are there in the class.
6.40.
6.40. None of the boys are responding there. The third one, minus 2 plus 6j. Don't simply see the screen here. You will not learn anything. Participate in the class.
6.324.
6.324. Is it right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. The last one, minus 8 minus 7j.
10.63.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I don't have a calculator. I'll not check it. I hope your answers are right. Yes. Now let's come back to the phase. What is the phase of 3 plus 2j? What formula have you people used over here to compute 3 plus 2j? Tan, you see the formula is what? Tan inverse of, what is that? B by A. What is B? The imaginary part. What is A? The real part. Accordingly, what you people have used over here? Tan inverse of 2 by 3. What is the answer? Answer, please.
0.5.
Please keep the calculator in radians mode. Keep the calculator in radians mode, not in degrees.
1.96.
Is it right? I don't have a calculator to check over here. Is it right? 1.96. Somebody else must authenticate it as yes, right.
No, ma'am. 0.58.
0.588.
Is it right? 0.588 is right.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
0.588.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it calculated in radians mode? Is it radians mode?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, fine, yeah. Now for
Yes,
for
ma'am.
second one, yes, pa. Any doubts? Yeah. For the second case, what formula you people are going to use here? What formula do you people use over here to calculate the phase? The same formula, tan inverse of B by A. What formula, pa? You people are going
Yes,
to use
ma'am.
the same formula, tan inverse of B by A. Probably I can't ask this for my section A students because I haven't taught them in the class. I heard section B students have been taught how to calculate magnitude and phase. So give me the answer, section B students. What formula you people use over here to calculate the phase? Is it the same formula, tan inverse of B by A, right or wrong? Hey, you people must talk, yeah? Yes, students. Okay, the question is open to everybody. You should say, no, ma'am, sometime back it is you who have told, ma'am, to calculate phase. The formula uses tan inverse of B by A. Is there any confusion with that? Right or wrong? Is the answer right or wrong? Tan inverse of B by A. None
It's
of you are
correct,
there
ma'am.
online. It's absolutely wrong. See, as long as both the real part and the imaginary part are positive, then the formula used is what? Tan inverse of B by A. When the real part is positive and the imaginary part is negative, the formula used to calculate the phase angle is minus tan inverse of B by A. Please note this change. Is it clear? When the real part is positive and the imaginary part is negative, the formula used is minus tan inverse of B by A. Now please substitute the appropriate value B as what? And please note that while doing it over here, say for example over here, minus tan inverse of, again what, don't consider B as minus 4. Just take B as just what? 4. What's the value of A is what? 5. Again, don't take here as minus 4 and plus 5. Is it clear? Then the answer is wrong. The formula is what? Minus tan inverse of B by A. When the imaginary part is negative. The value of B here is 4. The value of A here is 5. What is the answer? Minus what?
Minus
0.067.
0.6747.
0.6747.
6, 7,
Tan inverse of 4 by 5 is 0.6747.
67.
Ah, 67. Okay, something is 674 is fine, I feel, right? 674 is fine. No, what my question is, tan inverse of 4 by 5 is 0.674.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for that you added minus sign, it's fine, yeah. Now, coming back to the next one. So what about in this case, which one is imaginary? Sorry, the real part is negative, but whereas what? The imaginary part is positive. The real part is negative and the imaginary part is what is called as positive. If that is the case, the formula used to calculate phase is given by pi minus tan inverse of B by A. Please keep your calculator in radians mode. Pi also is in what? Radians mode. Pi minus tan inverse of B by A is the formula used to calculate phase of a complex number whose real part is negative and imaginary part is positive. Answer please. It's pi minus tan inverse of B by A.
1.89. 1.892.
How much more?
892.
Okay, 892. Is it positive only? Positive? Fine. Then no issue.
Yes, ma'am.
And in the last case, when both real part is also negative and imaginary part is also negative, in that case, the formula is minus of pi minus tan inverse of B by A. This is the formulas. And please note again over here, while substituting the values of B and A, do not carry the signs. Just B is a value and A is a value. Do not carry the signs. It's what? Minus of pi minus tan inverse of. What is B here? 7. What is A here? 8. Answer?
Minus 2.422.
Minus 2.422. Yes, that's it. Okay. Now I've just shown you for one arbitrary example. Whatever plotting we'll be doing in the program, for that you people must do it and cross check. Is it fine? Now shall we get into code now? Any doubts so far?
No, ma'am.
Not you have understood so much. The coding, MATLAB code is damn simple here. Anybody can do it. Yes. Now shall I get back to the code? All of you.
Yes, ma'am.
In my lab, only girls are there. Always their voice is there. None of the boys, I don't know, are they really there? Or they just simply log in and go elsewhere? I'm so sorry here. I don't hear anybody's voice except for very few boys. Yes, pa. Fine. Now let's get on to the code. Yeah. Now see, I'll first explain the code. It's 5 minutes explanation. Then we'll just once execute the program. Now see, I told you there are two ways of writing the program. In this, the first part, I directly will be using the MATLAB command. What is the command? FFT command to compute the DFT. And the second program will see how to use a formula. Okay, so let's start the code. So what I've done in this program is that to make things simpler, I've defined the sequence in the program only. I've defined the sequence. What is the sequence length? Basically what? 4. 4 is the sequence length. There are 4 elements in the sequence. Okay. And I've also defined the n, the value of n. I desire here to get a 4-point DFT. This can be 4, this can be 8, this can be anything. Time being, to make it more simpler, I just want to compute a 4-point DFT. I also included that value of n here only. You can also again rewrite the program asking the user to enter the value of the sequence in the command window and also to enter the value of n in the command window. In that way also you can do it. You can as well try. Fine. Next, after getting the sequence, after knowing the number of points of DFT to be computed, I'll be using this particular line to compute DFT. Okay. So what is the command used over here? The inbuilt function FFT of x comma n. And I want the answer to be stored to be assigned to a variable called as xk. In this way, I cannot use the word xk as a variable. Xk can be viewed as a vector, a one-dimensional vector consisting of the DFT values. So what is FFT? It is an inbuilt MATLAB function to compute the DFT of this given sequence x of n. How many point DFT I want? N point DFT. In this case, what is the value of n? 4. That's it. The job has been done. FFT will do the required task. It will compute the DFT, and the answer has been stored in this vector xk. Now the next part is what? Next part is to It's just compute to get the plotting. For better visualization, I want to view the graph. Okay. So basically here what happens, as I told you, in the screen we'll be seeing 3 graphs. One is my original sequence x or x of n. The second one is the magnitude plot, or the username here amplitude spectrum or the magnitude plot of my DFT value xk. And the next part is to obtain the phase spectrum or the phase plot. The first one we'll see how to obtain the magnitude plot. See, for that first look at this particular line. Stem, all of you know the difference between stem command and plot. Stem command is used to plot the discrete values and plot is used to obtain the graph of continuous values. So time being, since I'm working with a discrete sequence, I'm using the command called as stem. Stem of n comma absolute value of xk. Okay. As I told you earlier, what does this command abs does? It is going to calculate the magnitude of a complex number present in x of k. That is what abs of xk does. And if I say n means each of the so obtained value of x of k, it will be plotted against Against n. What is small n? Okay, my indexing n of my time domain sequence. Where does n starts from? Starts from 0. Okay, till where it runs? It runs till n minus 1. I think all of you know what this line means. 0 is to 1 is to n minus 1 means, or say for example, Okay, wait, I'll just get into that one node only and do it over here. Okay, 1 second. Okay, see, I think you people know this command. You people know this command. Okay, if I say that n is what? N is varying from 0. If I just say 0 is to n minus 1. In this case, let's say, for example, it is a 4.0 is to what? 4 minus 1 is 3. So how do I get my plotting there? At interval 0, at interval 1, at interval 2, and at interval 3. But in the program, I have written it as n is equal to what? 0 is to 1 is to n minus 1. This middle number 1 represents that between any two samples, the difference is basically what? 1. 1 minus 0 is 1, 2 minus 1 is 1, 3 minus 2 is 1. This is going to what? Dictate the interval between the two corresponding samples, between the two corresponding samples. Is it clear? That is all what this n means. What this n means, the middle number means. The lower limit, the upper limit, and the interval range. And so now, okay, so for this particular range, starting from 0 to the last value of n minus 1, my magnitude plot will be plotted. And as you people know what this figure means, if you want to create a new window, if you want to create a new figure window, we give this label, figure of 1, means the first figure window. So in that window, what do I get? I get this magnitude plot. Okay, stem means it is a command used to plot the discrete values. And for this particular graph, what I want to give? The labeling. X label means the label of the x-axis. Do you people know all these commands? All of you have been introduced to these commands: figure, stem, x label, y label, and all, title. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So x label will give me the labeling of x-axis. I've labeled as k, and y label is what? The labeling of y-axis. This represents what? This represents the modular symbol here. You can give any label of your choice. No particular rule as such. And the title of the figure window is what? Magnitude spectrum. That's it. Coming back to your phase spectrum, the same thing is going to go. What is the only change? In place of absolute, what I want? To get its phase angle. So what is the MATLAB function used over here? ANGLE. Stem of n comma angle. The value of n range is same. So each of the phase angle expressed in radians will be outputted, and that will be plotted against n. Again, give its x label, give its y label, give the title of the figure window by some suitable name, phase spectrum. This is the second figure window. The third figure window is to just look at my original sequence, original time domain sequence. So what I say is n1, I've defined a new variable called as n1. What is the length? What is the range of n1? It will start from 0 till where it goes. Length of x plus whatever is the length of my original sequence x. What is the original length sequence x? Yeah, this is what 4. What is the length 4? So what does it say? If I say length of x means this command length of x will output me or will return me back the value as 4. So 4 minus 1 is what? 3. Starting from 0 with every interval of 1, it gets what? Incremented. 0, 1, 2, and 3. What do I get there? Once I get this indexing n1, I want to plot my original sequence x with my n1 interval. Give its x label, give its y label, and give its title. See, for this program, whatever value you are going to get, magnitude value and the phase angle value, let's verify it theoretically afterwards. Is it clear? It's a very simple program using what? Using the MATLAB command. Here in this program, you have learned 3 commands. One is FFT used for DFT computation. One is ABS command to calculate the magnitude value of a given complex number. Next is the angle command used to obtain or calculate what? The phase angle in radians of a given complex number. That's it. Is it clear, students? Shall we go for the next program or any doubt? Any doubt you can ask me. Or else I'll go for the formula method program. Any doubt? Any doubt in any of this line, you can just ask me. Any of the line, if it's not very clear, you can ask me, or I'll proceed further. All of you are there, students? Yeah. Shall I proceed to the next program?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, the next is the program which has been written by applying the formula without, what is that? Without using the inbuilt FFT command. Without using the inbuilt FFT command. What's the first step? Define the sequence. Define the value of n. Define the value of n. And here, as you people know, I think you people can just once again recollect the formula for DFT. Recollect the formula for DFT. I think I'll just get back to that window. Yes. You people can recollect, right? Yeah, you just get back to this particular formula here. I say people, this is the formula used to calculate the DFT. See, to implement this, basically we are using two for loops. One is what? One for loop for this value of n. One for loop for this value of n, the inside summation. And one more for loop to increment the value of k, because where does k range from? K will range from 0 to n minus 1. So one for loop to increment k and one for loop to increment n. And what I do, I need to extract the sequence x of n and multiply it by what? Exponential value of minus j times 2 pi n k by n. The same thing has been translated into the program. But then what I'm doing, I'm using two different for loops. One for loop for k and one for loop for indexing n. So we'll just get back to the program once again. Yes. Now, yes. So I told you the first for loop is what? The outside for loop is for the term k. As we know that k will run from 0 to n minus 1. K will run from 0 to n minus 1. See, please note that this is a very important line where I'm initializing the very first value of x of k to 0. Because this initial value is used in this particular line, For the first interval, for the first value of k, I don't have any prior value of xk. So instead of the system or instead of the software to use any other unwanted or garbage value, I'm initializing the initial value of x of k to 0. That is all what this line is doing. Then come back to what? Come back to my inside for loop. What is inside for loop? For indexing of n. From where it will start? Starting, see, for example, now in this case, n is what? 4. So where does k will start from? 0 to 4 minus 1 is what? 3. So what is the first value of k? For k is equal to 0, I will enter into this loop. So what happens? Xk of 0 plus 1 is what? Xk of 1 is what? Initialized to 0. Then what? Now what is the value of k? For k is equal to 0, I'm calculating the values. So what happens for the insert summation? For n varying from 0 to n minus 1. So what is the first value of xk of k plus 1? Given by xk of k plus 1. What I've initialized the value as what? 0. This is 0 plus x of n plus 1. What is the value of n? 0. 0 plus 1. You can as well ask me, madam, why is that everywhere you're using this k plus 1 and n plus 1? See, generally, while we are writing the summation index, we are always starting the index from 0 to n minus 1, but not 1 to n. I'll repeat once again. All our summation indices value are ranging from where? From 0 to n minus 1. If the value of n is 4, what we do? We write is what? 0, 1, 2, 3. We don't have the habit of writing it as what? 1, 2, 3, 4. But whereas MATLAB will start the indices from 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will not start from 0. That is why everywhere we have used this n plus 1, k plus 1 like that. Okay. So the first value of k is what? The initialized value plus x of n. What it is? X of n plus 1 multiplied what? Exponential minus j times 2 pi n k by n. The same exponential value has been what? Incorporated over here. What's going to happen? The first for loop for n is equal to 0, what happens? It will get what? Ended over here. Then what? Again, it will not come back to the first loop. Why? Because this iteration for n must what? Must start from 0 and run till where? 0, 1, 2, 3. For the first time for n is equal to 0, I would have got first value. Then what happens? N gets incremented to 1. Again, one round iteration. Then what? N is equal to 2, third round. N is equal to 3, the fourth round. After completing all the 4 rounds, I would have got the value of what? X of 0. For k is equal to 0, I would have got what? X of 0. Done. Then what? Increment the value of k is equal to what? 1. Again, for k is equal to 1, again do the all 4 rounds of inner iteration. I get what? X of 1. Then what? X of 2. And then what? X of 3. The inner for loop runs for 4 times. The outer for loop will also run for what? 4 times. So after 4 iterations, I would have got what? X of 0, X of 1, X of 2, and X of 3. Again what? The next part, all these lines are very much similar to a previous program here. One figure window to get the magnitude spectrum. The second figure window is to get your phase angle spectrum. And the third figure window is to get what? Is to get your original sequence X of n. That's it, the program. The only change is that here I'm not using FFT command. Instead of FFT command, I've incorporated the formula by using 2 for loops and this particular line. That's it. If you have got any doubts, you can ask, or else I'll run the program on the MATLAB screen. All of us will enter the program on the MATLAB screen. Shall we? Or you people require any clarification? Shall we? Students, please reply. Yeah, please reply. Shall we get on to the MATLAB code execution?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What I'll do is first we'll run the first program. Okay, I'll just all of you are having the MATLAB software right now on your laptops. All of you will do with me or just see. I don't know what is the status. All of you right now are with your laptops with the MATLAB screen opened. Makru ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾತಾಡ್ರಿ first. If some staff is asking us 20 times.
Ma'am, I don't have MATLAB software, ma'am. Ma'am told Arya.
Ma'am.
Nandini ma'am told she'll inform.
Okay, fine. Well, at least just see. Then let's just see the screen. Okay, just see the screen. I'll first copy it. Okay. Okay, I'll just run the first program. Okay. I think you guys should be able to see the screen, all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I've pasted the first program. It takes some time here, MATLAB, so please do have patience. Yes. See, I've pasted the first program as such over here using the FFT command. All of you know, I think all of you know the steps, right? You're required to open a new editor window. In the new editor window, you people are required to type the program. Due to lack of time, I've copied the program and I've pasted. Once you have done that, please save the program. Okay, save the program in the required path. Save the program. Because there are more number of applications running, it will take some time. Do have patience. The first step is I'll just save the program. Cannot give any suitable name, and please note that the extension is .m because it's a MATLAB file. Okay, save it. Once you've saved the program, you are required to run using this run command, the run button. You should be able to see the plotting. Just wait for 2 minutes. It's pretty slow. Sorry for the inconvenience. It's happening, but it's slow. You'll be able to see all the 4 windows. You just wait. Now I think you should be able to see the windows are now popping out. Just wait. Okay. Yes. Now see, this is your first figure. Okay, there are 23 figures. See, in figure 3, you are able to see the original signal. See, in the program, 1 second. Okay. In the program, see what is my sequence defined as here? 1, 2, 3, and 6. 1, 2, 3, and 6. Okay. So in this figure 3 window, I plotted what? Plotted the original sequence. 1, 2, 3, and 6. Okay. And guess what? Indexing n. What is the length of the sequence? 4. 4 minus 1 is what? 3. 0, 1, 2, and 3. I've got the what? The plot of my original discrete time sequence x of n. X of n. Next, to see its magnitude plot. To see its magnitude plot. Okay. So I think now you people should be able to calculate and show it to me. Okay. See the value of the magnitude of x of 0. It is showing as 12. You people can calculate to me afterwards and just check it out. Okay. This is the magnitude of the first one, x of 0. This is the magnitude of the second component, x of 1, around some 4.8 or 5, whatever it is. The third one is around 4 point something. The last one is around something, again, 4 point or 5 point something. Okay, do one thing. See, if you want to just see the values of that xk, right? In the command window, just type it as xk. Okay, because that is a variable used, xk. Yes. Now, can you people just see these values? Can you people just see the values? The value of xk is what? X of 0 is what? 12 plus 0j. Just what? 12, the first value. The second value is what? Minus 2 plus 4j. The third value is what? Minus 4 plus 0j. The last value is minus 2 minus 4j. Now, students, please everybody take back a notebook. Take back a notebook quickly, all of you. Take a pen and paper. And first note down these values. And for these values, I want you people to calculate the magnitude and the phase. We'll verify those values from the graph. The value of x of 0 is what? 12. 12 plus 0j. Am I audible to everyone? Students, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
The first value is 12 plus 0j, x of 0. X of 1 is minus 2 plus 4j, minus 2 plus 4j. X of 1 is minus 2 plus 4j. X of 2 is minus 4 plus 0j. Minus 4 plus 0j.
Yes, ma'am.
Lastly, x of 3 is minus 2 minus 4j. Please calculate the magnitude and the phase values. Whatever values you people are going to give it to me, theoretical values, the same thing will verify it in the graph. Can you guys calculate it quickly? Please do calculate quickly here. The magnitude and the phase component of each of these 4 values. If you've got the answers, please let me know quickly. Yes, shall we check the values? What is the magnitude of the first one? Obviously, yeah, square root of 12 square plus 0 square is square root of 12 square is 12 only. The magnitude of x of 0 is 12. Right. All of you should have got the same value. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What about the second one? Yeah, could you please say me square root of -2 whole square plus 4 square? What answer you people have got it?
4.4721.
4.4721. Is it right? Everybody there? Fine. What about the third value?
Yes, ma'am.
It should be obviously 4 here. -4 plus 0 JMS. Square root of -4 whole square will be 4 only. Exactly 4. So no issues. It's right. What about the last one? The last one, -2 minus 4i. Square root, again the same value, 2 plus 4. I think it's the same thing, right? 4.427 is it? So it's
4.4721.
-2 plus 4 or -2 minus 4. The magnitude will be the same, pa. 4.427.
4721.
Okay, whatever it is, the same value. Yes, okay, the same value as you told. Okay, so the magnitude component is right, absolutely verified. Shall we check the phase? Has anybody got doubt in the magnitude component? Any doubt in the magnitude component? Any doubt?
472. Yes, ma'am.
Doubt, madam? Doubt? Who is that? Is somebody trying to enter? Still, I don't know. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Now,
No,
do one
ma'am.
thing. Yes, where is that MATLAB screen? Yes. Yeah. Now, we'll just get to the phase plot quickly. Have you calculated the phase for the first one? See, please note for the first one, both of them are positive. Both of them are positive. Tan inverse of B by A. Since B is 0, so what happens? The angle is absolutely what? 0. The phase angle is what? 0. Yes or no? For the first one, the imaginary component is
Yes,
0.
ma'am.
So
Yes,
obviously
ma'am.
phase angle is 0. No issue. For the second one, yeah, -2 plus 4j. Real component is negative and imaginary component is positive. What formula you people must use? Pi minus tan inverse of B by A. Please check it out. Pi minus tan inverse of B by A. Keep in radians mode. Pi minus tan inverse of 4 by 2. 4 by 2 is 2. So the answer should be pi minus tan inverse of 2. What is the answer?
2.034.
It's absolutely right, yeah. Almost same, 2.03. It's perfectly right. Okay. Next, the third one. The third one again. What is the value? The third one should be -4 plus, what is that? -4 plus, yeah, 0.000i. See, please note that over here, what is that? The real component is negative and the imaginary component is basically what? Positive. So what is again the same formula here? What is that? Pi minus tan inverse of B by A. So tan inverse of B by A will give me what? The value is what? 0. So it's just what? Pi. The value of pi in radians. How much here?
141.
What would be the result in 3.1? Yes, that is the value which has been showing over here. It's right. It's right. The last one is -2 minus 4i. Both real and imaginary components are negative. The formula used is minus of the whole bracket pi minus tan inverse of B by A. Minus of whole bracket pi minus tan inverse of B by A. B is 4, A is 2. What? Minus of pi minus of tan inverse of 2. What is the answer?
Minus
Minus
2.034.
-2.1. Yes, that is what. So please see, you can see what? Circle on the negative side, -2.1. It's right. Is it clear? So please remember the formulas and because in the exam you must show this. Examiner will ask you to verify it theoretically. Okay? This has to be done. Done, students? Shall we run the last program? The program using the formula.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll close this. I'll just open a new window and we'll do it. Okay, a new window, I'll open it. All of you are able to see the MATLAB screen? Yes, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅಳ್ತಾರಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. In Bangalore, students speak, they do respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Every minute they come up with some kind of doubt, some kind of interaction. I also expect students
Yes,
from
ma'am.
Bangalore also to do the same. Okay, ಮಾತಾಡ್ರು, doubt ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳಿ, understand, learn better. Okay, and all of you are much smarter than our generation, isn't it? Be smart, learn quick, and understand things. Yeah. So the next step. So I've copied the program. Okay. The same thing. The only change is what? Whatever is the program written is based on formula, not using the inbuilt MATLAB command. After pasting the program, just first save the program. I'll just save the program. Give any default name. Should be .m. It's a MATLAB command, MATLAB file. That's why. So after saving it, run the program. Yeah. Again, you're able to see 3 figure windows. One is prior to this. Yeah. See, please note that. Please, everybody note on the sequence. The sequence is 2, 3, 9, -1. 2, 3, 9, -1. This is the sequence. It's 2, 3, 9, -1. So whatever is the DFT computed, the value is this. This is the value. Because time being, there's no time. I can't ask you people to compute DFT. I've given the DFT values. Take it on the values, but all I want you people is to compute the magnitude and the phase part. Then only we're checking the figure windows. The value of x of 0 is 13 plus 0j. X of 0 is 13 plus 0j. X of 1 is -7 -4j. -7 -4j. X of 2 is 9 plus 0j. 9 plus 0j. X of 3 is -7 plus 4j. Okay, -7 plus 4j. Why is that boy Kiran BK? Who is this boy? Why is he coming so late? If that boy comes, join the class, you ask that boy too. Who is this Prajwal? I don't know. You ask these boys to talk to me. I don't know they belong to section A or B. The students will join now. Okay. Are you guys calculating the magnitude and the phase part? Are the values clear? X of 0 is 13 plus 0j. X of 1 is -7 -4j. X of 2 is 9 plus 0j. X of 3 is -7 plus 4j. First, calculate all the values. So as I told you, my given sequence is 2, 3, 9, -1. Accordingly, in my figure window 3, the first value is 2, next is 3, next is 9 and -1. This is fine. The plot of the given original sequence. I don't want this. I want you people to calculate the magnitude 1 so that we can check the values. Yes. So what is the first magnitude value, Pa? Is it 30?
13.
13 marks.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
it's fine. You're getting the same answer. 13.
13.
Yes. 13. You're absolutely right. What about the magnitude for x of 1 component? Is it 8? Is it 8?
8.06.
Okay, 8.06.
8.06.
Okay, fine. Almost 8.06.
8.06.
Yeah, the same value also is getting displayed here. For x of 2, it's what?
9.
X of 2, 9.05.
0.05.
9
9.
point?
9.05.
Okay, fine. The same value here too. Between 8 and 10, fine. What's the last value? X of 3. X of 3. Is it 8 point something again? 8.4.
8.62.
Okay, fine. That's fine. The same value. So the magnitude spectrum has been verified. The theoretical and the practical values are matching. Fine, no issues. Now let's just check the phase spectrum. For x of 0, as long as the imaginary part is 0, it is 0 only. So the first value is what? The first value is what? 0. First value is what? 0. Done. Fine. Next, coming back to the second value, x of 1, please note that both real and imaginary part are negative. So the formula to be used is minus of pi minus tan inverse of b by a. Minus of pi minus tan inverse of b by a. So please do calculate what is the resulting phase value in radians. Give it to me.
Minus 2.622.
Yeah, it's fine. It's almost showing the same value. Is it right? Minus 2.622.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, fine. It's right. And for x of 2, since it is 9 plus 0j, the imaginary component is 0. And since both are positive, obviously the phase angle is 0. So it's right. The last one is minus 7 plus 4j.
Minus 2.
Real part is negative and imaginary part is positive. The formula is pi minus tan inverse of b by a. Pi minus tan inverse of b by a. What is the answer? Plus what? 2 point?
Yes, ma'am.
2.622.
Plus 2.6. Okay, that's fine. Same value is getting displayed here. That's it, yeah. Now, fine, we're done with the programs. So whatever I've shown for DFT, I think you people can do the same thing for IDFT. So what you people know the formula for IDFT? Okay, use the same two for loops and incorporate a formula there for IDFT. What is the formula? What is x of n given by 1 by n summation k varying from 0 to n minus 1 x of k e power plus j 2 pi nk by n. I think the formula should be stored in your mind by this time. To incorporate the same formula, I want you people to write a MATLAB code. It's theory verification and a screenshot of the waveforms. It should be uploaded in the Canvas, the group. Yeah, Chaitra madam will be giving a place where exactly to upload it. You people must do it. And again, the same IDFT by using what is that function means. See, to compute DFT, the command uses FFT. To compute IDFT, the command used is IFFT. Inverse fast Fourier transform. IFFT. So both these two programs, you people must write it, execute it, share the screenshot and the theoretical verification as well as the handwritten code. Scan, save it as a PDF copy, and that also should be uploaded on Canvas. Is it clear to all of you? Any doubts, you can always get back to me. Okay? And whatever was the program was there in the earlier manual, your SJC manual,
Yes.
that the graph part is wrong here. Instead of what plotting it on that n or k, they have done it using omega. That's not DFT, that is Fourier transform. So please refer to this program only. Okay, I think today morning this program would have been shared by Chaitra madam in the Canvas group. The program has been changed. Refer to this. Any doubts, please come back. Is it clear, students? And from I think from 3:20 to 3:30, there is a small quiz on whatever you have learned it today. This 2 programs. This quiz is also available on Canvas. I think Chaitra madam is going to open the link exactly at 3:20 and close it at 3:30 or whatsoever it is, between 3:20 to 3:30. So I'm going to stop the class over here. Please do the quiz. That also carries marks. And any doubts you've got can come back to me. Fine? Anything to be asked? Students?
Thank you.
No. Okay, fine. Bye. See you all. Okay, I'll be seeing all the. I'm not seeing section B for quite a few more days. I'll be seeing all the section A students on Wednesday. Have a great day. Thank you all for coming to the class. Okay, take care and bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Fine. Done. Okay, done.